According to the LA Times, women are leaving the tech industry in droves. Well, in 12 years of work in the tech industry, never realized we had droves to lose in the first place. Well, whatever. Anna Redmond launched into a technology career for an exciting challenge and the chance to change the world. She was well equipped to succeed too. An ambitious math and science whiz, she could code faster with fewer errors than anyone she knew. Sounds a bit like the description of a superhero, doesn't it? In 2011, after 15 years, she left before achieving management position. Garan means, I don't know how that's pronounced, became a programmer for similar reasons. After 13 years, she quit too, citing a hostile and welcoming environment for women. Neither expects to ever go back. Right, they lasted quite a long time, 15 and 13 years, to be in a hostile and unwelcoming environment for women. I wonder if that was incited in any way. There are a lot of things that piled up over the years, Mean said. I didn't know how to move forward. There was a lot I had to put up with in the culture of tech. It just didn't seem worth it. Okay, fine. Your choice to leave. But it's not just women that leave. I know lots of men that leave. In particular, one CTO left shortly after I started working in a particular company. And as far as I know, now he's managing a restaurant. That's a huge problem for the tech economy. According to the industry group Code.org, computing jobs will more than double by 2020 to 1.4 million. If women continue to leave the field, an already dire shortage of qualified tech workers will grow worse. Last summer, Google, Facebook, Apple and other big tech companies released figures showing that men outnumbered women 4-1 or more in their technical sectors. And why is that a problem? I really do not understand why that is a problem. And as for the huge problem for the tech economy, I said that ages ago. But what do you expect when you discourage men from going to university? It's why the industry is so eager to hire women and minorities. For decades, tech companies have relied on a workforce of whites and Asians, most of them men. Again, I do not see the problem here. If that's what's on the market, if white men and Asian men are the majority of the people who choose this kind of field, so what? I don't hear anyone complaining about the surplus of women in nursing and teaching. Plenty of programs now encourage girls of minorities to embrace technology at a young age, but amid all the publicity for those efforts, one truth is little discussed. Qualified women are leaving the tech industry in droves. Women in tech say filling the pipeline of talent won't do much good if women keep quitting. It's like trying to fill a leaking bucket. It's really frustrating thing, said Laura Sherbin, Director of Research at the Center for Talent Innovation. The pipeline may not improve much unless women can look ahead and see it's a valuable investment. You might want to check what you're filling the pipeline with. I mean, usually people working in IT have a passion for it. You'd be hard-pressed to find a developer that doesn't have at least 1 or 2 side projects of his own. If you've been pushed into this field because of politics, because of a fast-track degree, because of woman-only scholarships, because your feminist club says that you must take STEM degrees, you're not likely to have the passion to stay in the field. And it's hard to stay in the field, for men and women. That's why it's paid well. A Harvard Business Review study from 2008 found that as many as 50% of women working in science, engineering and technology will, over time, leave because of hostile work environments. Yeah, I'm always wary about these studies because depending on how the questions are posed, one can steer the person one side or the other. Anyway, the reasons are varied. According to the Harvard study, they include a hostile male culture, a sense of isolation, and the lack of a clear career path. An updated study in 2014 found the reasons hadn't significantly changed. Well, okay, let's tackle these one at a time. A hostile male culture. I don't know, they might perceive it as hostile. IT offices are usually fairly quiet places where people are concentrating hard on finding the source of problems and solving them. That can give a person who doesn't know what IT is like a feeling of being isolated. I've been ignored more than once when trying to speak to a colleague, but that wasn't a problem. I don't know how many times I responded to a question from a colleague with "go away" because I was frustrated with the problem and it needed my full attention. And as for the lack of a clear career path, if you're good, you make your own career path. The only reason for not having a clear career path in front of you is because you're either lazy or rubbish. Redmond, now 40, didn't want to leave her tech career, but she felt stuck with no way to advance. She said her male co-workers seemed to oppose her. It was like they were trying to push me out of every stage, she said. She had built a prototype for a travel website, she said, a feature to auto-suggest cities and airports based on the first 3 letters typed in the search field, fixing a long-standing problem. Her male bosses told her she'd built it without permission. Then they said only architects within the company could pitch features, and all the architects were male. In the end, the project was handed to someone else, and she was assigned to less interesting tasks. They just kept asking me to prove myself over and over again, she said. As an isolated incident, Redmond wouldn't have thought much of it, but she noticed a pattern. She said she was often passed up for no apparent reason, and her projects were frequently taken away or dismissed. Now, I don't want to dismiss her experiences out of hand, but it seems like all of her points are based on how she feels about the situation. The only kind of solid thing is this prototype for the travel site that she mentions, and she says that she was refused because only architects within the company can pitch features. How many projects have been refused from male developers? That's not mentioned. I've had myself lots of projects refused, so what? That's what managers do. They plan ahead, and what doesn't fit with the plan gets refused. Tracy Cho, I think that's how it's pronounced, 27, a well-known engineer at Pinterest, said she was once bypassed at a previous startup because her boss thought the new male hire was more qualified. When Cho pressed for an explanation, she recalled him saying, "It's just this feeling that I have that this person will be able to get stuff done faster than you." The continuous pattern of all these people treating me like I don't know what was going on, or excluding me from conversation and not trusting my assertions, all these things added up, and it felt like there was an undercurrent of sexism, she said. So, of a continuous pattern of people treating her like she wasn't any good, she can only bring up once being bypassed by a previous startup. Also, why does it have to be sexism? Just because you're a woman doesn't make everything sexism. That's one difficulty in tackling the problem, said Alaina Percival of Women Who Code, a group that aims to attract more women in the tech industry. But again, why? Why do we need to have women in the industry, even if they don't want to come in? They're things so small that you'd never even complain about them, Percival said, but they happen day after day. They're the kind of things that separate and exclude you from the team and make you say, "Hey, is this the right career path for me?" In my experience, all women that in tech that I've seen personally do their very best not to work overtime, even when it's needed because the delivery is late. If everyone in the team is pulling midnight for a week to get the work done, except for one person, that person is likely to be the target of hostility from co-workers, whatever the gender. I have the perfect example in a Friday 2 weeks ago, when we were late working until 9 p.m. on a Friday, as I said, and when the issue was fixed, we ordered the pizzas, fired up the projector on the PlayStation, opened a few beers, and had a jolly good time. The women were already at home by then and missed all that impromptu team building. And I know for a fact they don't have families to look after. It's not just employees. Female tech entrepreneurs face similar frictions. Wayne Sutton, a partner at BuildUp, a startup that seeks out companies founded by women and minorities, says he often sees women treated unfairly. He recently watched a woman introduce herself to a venture capitalist, only to be told that she should get a job instead of starting her own business, because you're not going to make it here. Situations like that can hurt the confidence of any entrepreneur, Sutton said. Some people will argue that if you're going to be an A-plus entrepreneur, you're not going to let it bother you, but it's really unnecessary behavior. Have you considered that maybe that is to weed out the weak ones? They're not going to invest money in people so easily deterred, are they? So far, no company has found a solution for retaining women. And again, I don't understand why retaining women as opposed to retaining capable people is so important. Google, whose engineering workforce is only 17% female, introduced a training program in 2013 that aims to fight cultural biases. Oh God. Employees play word association games and are often surprised how quickly they link engineering and coding professions with men and less technical jobs with women. Why should they be surprised? Pinterest's technical team is 21% female. Again, why is that important? It created an engineering promotion committee to ensure no one is overlooked. Gender, race, ethnicity, and the like aren't given a special priority. Okay, right. But the committee is charged with making sure those issues don't get in the way of advancement. The company also has a recruiter whose focus is diversity. Oh, interesting. I thought the focus of a recruiter should be the ability to do the job. Facebook, with a technical workforce that is 15% female, gathers its female employees from around the world for a leadership day filled with talks, workshops, and support. Oh, special treatment for women. So much for equality. Women also organize themselves into Facebook groups to share knowledge and experiences. The company also offers special benefits like 4 months of paid maternity and paternity leave and free classes for women on returning to the workplace. Okay, to be honest, I don't have a problem with this. If it's 4 months of paid maternity and paternity and free classes, okay, I do have a problem with the free classes for women on returning to the workplace, because if a man takes paternity leave, that implies he's not going to get the free classes on returning to the workplace, and he would have missed just as much as a woman taking maternity. Apple's global engineering workforce is 20% female. The company did not respond to requests for comment. And rightly so, because as I said, the number of women in a particular field is irrelevant, as long as the people have been hired on the basis of their ability. Sensitivity training, mentoring, instruction in negotiating tactics, and other incremental measures won't boost the numbers, said Joan C. Williams, law professor at UC Hastings College of the Law and co-author of What Works for Women, 4 Patterns Working Women Need to Know. Companies need to research the biases that prevent women from getting ahead, she said, and devise interrupters. Instead of single training sessions, companies need to make systemic changes, she said. Well, of course, the world must change to accommodate women, whether they want it or not. One example. Google's own data showed women were promoted less often than men because workers need to nominate themselves. Women who did so got pushed back. Based on her studies, Williams found that women are rewarded for modesty and penalized for what men might see as aggressive behavior. Google began including female leaders at workshops to coach everyone, men and women, on how to promote themselves effectively. The gender difference among nominees disappeared, Williams said. Well, first of all, this is not an example of a company changing to accommodate women. This is an example of a company that's training women to do as well as men. They're not as good to promote themselves. They're being trained to promote themselves. So, really, sexism in tech when it's women who are not up to par? And when they get up to par, there's no sexism? This is actually disproving the article. Although high-profile women such as Yahoo Marissa Myers, Hewlett-Packard's Meg Whitman, and IBM's Ginny Rometty mark glass ceilings victories for women, most tech companies are headed by men. Okay, what's your point? The fact that there are those women there means that nobody's stopping them. If there really was your patriarchy anywhere, you wouldn't have them in the first place. And simply having female CEOs does not in itself solve the problem. Men are crucial for creating an environment where women thrive, said Scarlett Sieber, 27 years old, Vice President of Operations at tech company Infamous. Vice President of Operations, 27. Yes, you surely have been held back. Men need to be the ones that are advocating and pushing for women to rise up, and not just rely on the 1% of women who are already at the top and do it, Sieber said. No, absolutely not. Men need to do their job just like women. Women don't need to be pushed up into positions. They need to climb up there on their own. Do you want equality or special treatment? Until then, women like Redmond and Means will keep leaving. Redmond now runs her own business making educational apps for children. And that's not tech, how? While Means, 36, has moved to Rome to work on a novel and figure out what she'll do next. Oh yes, of course. When asked what it would take to bring her back to the tech industry, Means laughs and says everything. Then, the main thing would be professionalism. Just being able to treat each other with respect would be huge. Okay, I don't want to comment on this. I'll be really nasty and I don't want to end the video on nastiness. For what it's worth, I'll give my own experience with women in tech. I've been working in IT for 12 years now, and I'm in a position of examining CVs and interviewing candidates. Usually, there is excitement in the team when a woman's CV comes through, and we really hope that she'll make it through the selection. To be entirely honest, we have called in for an interview women who, if they had been male, would have been rejected out of hand. Those that we do hire also have this tendency of never doing any overtime. I've only seen one of my female co-workers doing overtime once. The main reason, in my opinion, that so many women are leaving tech is because they enter the pipeline, as it describes it in the article, for the wrong reasons. Because they see the high paycheck, there is a reason why tech is paid so much. They push that for politics, which is the worst reason to enter a career. Also, regarding hostility, if a woman enters a job as a developer and does her job is one thing, and in my experience, she gets accepted, no worries. But if she enters as a woman developer and wants to be treated in a special way because vagina, she will be treated with hostility. It's the same thing with girl gamers and gamers who happen to be girls. One last thing. How were these women surveyed? We know how the 1 in 4 women will be raped stat was constructed. So how can we know this is reliable? I'll leave in the description a clip from 1986. It is still very relevant and explains what I mean.